Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today, we're going to be having a continuation of one of the biggest stories that came out yesterday that really took us all. They took the internet by storm, and that news was Shannon Sharpe being fired from ESPN. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video, sub to the channel. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. All right, let's get into this topic here. So yesterday was a pretty interesting day, right? We had already had our content planned out. I was at the gym, right? I was at the gym, and we had already done a live before that reacting to some comments that Daryl Morey made about LeBron's championship, saying that people didn't think it was a valid one in the NBA. So we did that, and then I'm just getting ready to publish a video, and then I check my phone, and I see Mitch has already sent me a thumbnail. He's like, it's a pretty big one. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just literally jumped out the shop. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, Shannon Sharpe got fired from ESPN. I said, what? I said, what? Shannon Sharpe got what? So immediately jumped on the live. I think during that live, we had like 3,000 people in there. The thing was jumping, right? And we were reacting to the story. And then while we're reacting to that story, Gilbert Arenas' news comes out. So Shannon gets fired from ESPN, and everybody was reacting to it. And as you guys know, it's created a lot of conversation because, number one, people are looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, we're thinking about where Shannon was coming from at the top of the game. And he still is in certain extents. He's still very successful in the podcasting space. To going on working on the hottest show, morning sports talk show in the United States in First Take, to then finding himself in a lawsuit, being sued for $50 million by an OnlyFans model. And then, we start hearing the audio come out of their interactions. And then we hear that he offered her $10 million, in which she declined. And then they filed a lawsuit for $50 million. And later on, we found out that he reportedly paid $23 million to this woman, and the woman then went out there to basically say she's retired. It was just a total mess, right? Now, one of the things that did surprise me, however, was that Shannon Sharpe actually ended up dropping a video on his Nightcap channel talking about this very thing, where he addressed the news of him being fired from ESPN, and essentially it's something that he knew was coming. He had just hoped that it would come out next week, Monday, because I believe his brother was being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he didn't want this news to overshadow that. So that's really what he was talking about. But before we get into this sound from Shannon Sharpe, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Game Time. One of the things I love the most is making unforgettable memories with family and friends. And one of the things I hate the most is overpaying for tickets only to find out that there was a better deal out there. That's one of the reasons I started using Game Time. Game Time is the easy go-to app for last-minute tickets to sports, concert, and theater events across 60-plus states in the US and Canada. Game Time saves me time, money, and stress by curating only the best deals, so I'm not wasting a whole bunch of time scrolling through overpriced tickets. Game Time Picks is my favorite tool. It highlights the best value seats instantly. No more guesswork, no more wasting time. For example, I'm really looking forward to watching some of these NBA Summer League games. Here's what I like to do. I choose between the cheapest deal, the great deal, or the amazing deal. Once you select the ticket you want, you can use their panoramic seat view to ensure you know exactly what you're getting before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and use redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Okay, so what we want to do now is I want to play with Shannon on the show yesterday, and I'm going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Shannon Sharpe here.
Before we get started, obviously, I'm sure everybody's heard the news by now that I will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week, and really the only thing that I really ask is, like, guys, could we wait until Monday? My brother's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I really wanted to be about him, and I wanted to be about my family. I know this coming out will overshadow everything that he's worked his entire life for. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. And so as I told him, as I profusely apologized to him earlier today, he said, bro, stop apologizing. You don't have to apologize. I'm your big bro. I'm going to love you regardless. We all make mistakes. And he says, bro, I love you. So I'm done with this. You're done with it too. move on. And I really enjoyed my time at ESPN. It gave me an opportunity to bring my audience that saw me really just grow. They saw me, Lakers in 5, and they saw me say all these analogies that my grandparents gave me, and I was able to bring that to ESPN. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But I just wished, of all things, like I said, hey, they did what they felt they needed to do, and I'm at peace with that. But I just wish, guys, this thing could have waited until Monday, because I hate the fact that I'm overshadowing my brother, the first 2 brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and this is what the headline's going to be for the next couple of days. So, bro, again, I know you told me this, I don't have to apologize, but I'm going to do it one final time tonight, and I won't apologize again. I'm sorry that I upstaged you in this manner. That was never my intent. You've been my hero. You've been my role model from as long as I can remember. And I apologize, and I thank all my fans for supporting me when I was at ESPN and every place that I've been, be it Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, Undisputed, ESPN. Thank you guys for your support.
Excellent. So you heard what he had to say. What are my thoughts about this? Look, man, this is just incredible. This is just incredible that you're looking at a guy that was dominating the space, like he still is, but like really dominating the space, having interviews that would go viral pretty much every single time. And he still has interviews that do very well on his channel, but he was in a totally different stratosphere. And then things just started to go left, man. Shannon just started to, he was doing things on the internet that I just couldn't believe. You had that video, that audio that came out that was leaked, him going on Instagram Live. And then you have this situation here, and then he was beefing with different people in media. And you knew inevitably something like this would happen. But then the story with this girl is the one that it's just shocking. And then now you cost yourself a job at ESPN. For those of you guys who don't understand how serious this is, there were reports that ESPN was planning to give Shannon Sharpe his own show. His own show. There were even talks at the time of Shannon Sharpe possibly replacing Stephen A. Smith on ESPN First Take, because there were reports that Stephen A. Smith may be interested in doing late night. This is what we're talking about, Shannon, 6 months ago, 7-8 months ago. So we go from that to now finding yourself on the outside trying to look in. It's just crazy. Now, I've also heard some rumors out there that Shannon Sharpe may be going over to work at Barstools. I haven't heard anything concrete about that. It's just a rumor that he may end up going over there and working with those guys. But the fact of the matter is, he was on a major platform. He was on the biggest sports network in the world, or at least in the United States. And regardless of how well he's doing now, it's going to have an impact. The fact is, when you're on ESPN, you're on a bigger platform, you're on TV, you're more visible, things just generally seem to work out better for you. Like some of the most successful podcast guys are usually on TV if we're talking about sports personalities. It's harder when you're no longer on TV trying to have that same level of success. It's just harder. There were days he used to promote his liquor on the show. He used to promote his podcast on the show in front of a live audience of hundreds of thousands of people, where you no longer have that platform. Right? It was a major platform to promote other things that you were doing. Stephen A. Smith even promoted his podcast on ESPN. So it's definitely a big hit. I also heard that he said he's kind of at peace with it, which is good. The guy worked very hard over the last 5-6 years to make all the money that he's made, and now he has to really work double time to not only make up the money that he's lost with this insane lawsuit, but to kind of make up for the money that he's probably going to lose not being on TV. Just a crazy story overall. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about what Shannon had to say? What are your thoughts on this? Where do you stand with his comments? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.